Hey, everybody. This is Dan coming to you barely alive from Japan because it's 11 o'clock because certain people like, say, QX, who's with me, can't just have the decency to live in an Asian time zone where it'll be more convenient for me. But anyway, these are the sacrifices that we make for the Ergo ecosystem, don't we? Oh, speaking of which, yeah, I got QX with me today. Say hi to everybody, QX.
Hi, everybody, QX.
Okay, yeah.
Dan,
Okay.
I'm fine with doing this an hour earlier. It's time's changed. I'm sorry. Not my fault. I blame Andy.
You people in your daylight savings
You people?
time.
You
You
people?
people. Yes.
I don't know what that means, Dan. That sounds a little racist.
You people named you. Yes, I am racist against everybody named. Anybody's got a Q in their name. Anywho. All right. Well, welcome to another exciting AMA. And so, yeah, I am here. And yeah, so is QX. And so we are ready to give you some updates, ready to answer some questions. So, ask some questions. All right. So what's been going on with my end? So the negotiation with the exchanges that I've been talking to is kind of started to slow down a little bit because of the holiday season. They're kind of starting to, wind down things. But again, it's just all about the legal aspect of it and what they can and cannot do in certain jurisdictions. So we're trying to figure that out. Like I said, we did have a legal opinion done about 2 years ago now, which still, it's still about the same as far as the regulation goes. So we are using that to kind of try to figure out what it is that they can do. I mean, spot trading is, of course, something that we are looking to do first and foremost, but there's also other financial tools that they would like to introduce. So again, it's a slow process, but it's a process. And in the end of the process, I hope to get us a couple of exchanges that can work for Ergonauts in the U.S. and Canada, which is what we're looking for.
Oh, we care about Canada?
Okay, fine, U.S.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't have to pretend, Dan.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. You caught me. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, aside from that, so things are going really good with Rosen. Some of you might have been following updates from Rosen. So we got literally dozens of watchers on both sides, on Cardano and Ergo right now. So yeah, it's just really starting to wind up. So I think there
was a test TX this morning, Dan.
Yeah. So this morning there was a test TX. Thanks, Dan, for doing Dan's update for him.
You were just, it's late at night. You're old and you're just starting to ramble. I figured I'd just help you out, give you a little.
Aren't you older than me?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. How old are you?
You look older than me.
How old are you? Are you 35?
Okay, how about we say it at the same time? 1, 2, 3,
42.
35. Okay, yeah, so you're older.
Fucking liar.
Yeah, sorry, Grandpa. So I got your beat on that one. Anyway, so yeah, test transaction today. So really exciting stuff. We're really kind of first of all, the Rosen team is kicking ass, and also we're doing really good with the Catalyst proposal that got us funded for this. So all in all around, I am really happy with that progress. And of course, I'm happy that the Zengate team can lend a helping hand to make this happen, because I believe that this is a really big thing for Ergo. In fact, I'm obviously I'm the only one who thinks that. I think the bulk of the community understands how big this is. yeah, but just specifically for myself, I just really think it's going to be a huge milestone for us once this is up and running. It's going to be an industry changing technology. It is an industry changing technology. So, yeah, slowly but surely we will get there and we'll get it running. And Ergo is going to be known for this awesome new, more secure, innovative architecture, bridge architecture that is going to go out there and quote unquote save the crypto world from all this unpleasantness that has been going around the bridge circuits and whatnot.
Dan, are you running a watcher? You running a watcher set on either chain?
We're running a guard.
Yeah, but no watcher set personally.
No watcher set personally, but that will change in the new year. I will run a watcher set.
New year, new you.
Yeah, no, same old me, new year, but younger than you. Anyway, yeah, so I will be running a watcher set, or we will be running a watcher set probably from the Zengate office, actually, because we do have access to really good internet over there and electricity. Anyway, so those are the major updates from my end. Again, like I said, we're kind of winding down for the new year, so Ergo specific stuff is starting to kind of slow down, but it will pick up in the new year, and we will carry it through and make things happen. Oh, and I see Mr. THZFM has joined us, and thank you for that awesome coffee that I just got. So THZ, he's also a coffee producer, and he was kind enough to send me a bag of his finest beans to Japan, and I have been enjoying that coffee the past couple of days. So thanks for that.
Let's be honest, Dan. If he sent you beans, they probably weren't his finest beans. They're probably up there, but he probably didn't send you his finest beans.
You know, you and your beans should start doing your update right now.
Oh, yeah, it's my turn. That's right.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's your
so much,
turn.
Dan. I was just wondering if I'd get a chance to talk this AMA, that's all.
This is it, and that's all you're going to get. So get on with it.
All right, so what can we talk about? SIGs, where as Dan's team is running a guard, SIGs are running a guard too, for those of you that didn't know. We're staying abreast on the updates and the required things that we have to do that. So we're all caught up as well of this morning. There was a small change to the guard set that we had to make that we did, which was easily done. I've been playing around with watchers as well so that we can help out people coming in that need help with that. We've been putting out videos, as some of you know. There's MG Pi put out a watcher video for using a watcher on a remote machine. Super easy. I think it's like a 7-minute video, couple commands, and you have the watchers spun up, good to go. I put out a Windows video and what is it called? Ergo tutorials put out a Mac video. So everybody's pretty much covered there, it seems. And also the Rosen chat's been extremely helpful for people that come in that get stuck on something. Because it isn't, it's not an executable. It's not like you download an exe or a .app for your Mac or Windows machine. It does require a little bit of, getting into the command line and running some code. So it's really nice to see the community get together in the Rosen chat to help everybody out there. Sigmanauts, we are taking a break next weekend for the holidays, whichever holidays that people observe. We are taking a break there, so that'll be a nice relaxing Sunday that we don't have to meet and prepare and that kind of stuff. We are also hopefully running some more ads on Twitter. We ran an ad for a little more than a week on Twitter. Got some good results according to Twitter or X dashboard. We got some good results on click-throughs, but one of the sites we pointed to unfortunately didn't have metric abilities. Hey, you live, you learn. We're crawling before we can walk, Dan. So our next ad that we're going to push out soon is going to be pointing people towards the Telegram channel, as well as a really nice informational page that Grayman is setting up with Glasgow on the Ergo webpage, that we can actually track metrics to see if Twitter says that we have 5,000 click-throughs, are they really coming to us? Are they filling us with bullshit kind of thing? So it'll be nice to see that, see what they browse after that, and have some better things. So this will be a second mini campaign coming out. It costs about I think we have about €300 per week, so that's about 30 something per day that we do. And the last campaign we did, I think, reached, 5 to 6, 7,000 click-throughs, maybe 5,000 click-throughs, and a few million views or something like that, or 2 million views, impressions. So it was no small number, which is pretty neat.
So,
yeah.
So hold on, let me ask you something. So I think we talked about this last week, but remind me again. So what is the call to action for these click-throughs? Like, what do they do for you to kind of?
So the first call to action was to come check out all the apps on Ergo, the D apps that you can use when you cross the Rosen Bridge. We're going to try to figure out some other call to action for the second one, perhaps something to do with you personally, Dan.
Yeah.
Like
so
DM Dan.
Nobody's
code.
coming to my house. Nobody's touching those cigars over there. Those are fine wines from Georgia and cigars, and not even you are going to touch those. So don't even think about that.
It's going to be pluck the G string on Dan's 5-string banjo.
Yeah, that thing needs to be tuned a little bit. It was a little wonky this morning. But anyway, so I just wanted.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Yeah,
no,
go
for it.
All right, it's okay. You're older. You
I
have
know.
problems
Trouble hearing,
with timing,
delayed reaction time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's okay, Grandpa. Anyway, so how can we be sure that they tried out these DApps, not D-apps, Grandpa, DApps?
Yeah, that's another metric that we want to try to do. So you're right. It's hard to measure if we just shoot everybody towards Sigmaverse, and who knows what they're going to do. So exactly, we want to be more targeted in what we do. So we'll be able to measure where they're coming to in Telegram, and then perhaps we can recommend some D apps on the page when they come in as well. And then we can just see the metrics for maybe a few of those cool D apps from there. So yes. The too wide of a net, we won't be able to tell a damn thing. So we're going to try to do a little more targeted. We're learning as we're going. We have some people with marketing experience in the Sigmanauts. Austin's got some marketing experience. Angie, I believe, is also going to start jumping into the Sigmanaut meetings.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and help steer that. We met yesterday and chatted for a little bit. For those of you who don't know, Andy is on that team for the Ergo Foundation. So that'll be good to get some more insight there. There are some other people as well with marketing experience, but as with any group, we may have Austin one week and then we don't have him the next week, or maybe Andrew will come one week, we don't have him the next week. So that's the way it works with any kind of group like this. So stuff isn't immediately instant. We have to kind of do stuff over several weeks of time where we get the consensus of everybody. I wouldn't say it's like herding cats, but
I would like to see you kind of try to have a more quantifiable way to see how effective it is. Like exactly, how do you like in traditional SPO you would have just at the metrics, they visited the first page, but they didn't stay on this. They didn't go to the second page or whatever. Just something like that.
Yep.
But with DApps, to maybe see what they accessed, what they downloaded. I mean, I don't know how you would be able to see that, if it's like a trackable IP or what is it? What can tell you, but maybe even do some sort of like a sign up for something. See if maybe do like a SIGs type of event, where you have something where you get people from the outside to sign up for something. That's something, not difficult, nothing that has to do with, say, coding, but maybe something more along the lines of just general participation, and see how that works. I'd like
So
to see
Dan, it's
that.
funny you should say that. So last week we spoke. One of the topics that was brought up was that there is a group, the Ergo group in Ergo, that does this Twitter promotion where you can connect your Twitter account to their website and then your wallet as well. And as you promote the hashtags of Ergo and some other hashtags, you can be ranked on a leaderboard, and then you're distributed Ergo tokens at the end of the month. So everything's all set up. It seems to be really good. I've used it before. So the idea would be that during the meetings we said, hey guys, do you mind just doing a little more clarification on your website that says here essentially are the steps? Stuff was a little more fragmented there. So they've updated that, and the idea is that the Sigmanauts are going to start pushing that as a way to engage the community. So you're right. It could be nice to have a call to action in that way. So check out our Telegram, check out this documentation page where we explain some cool things about Ergo, and also sign up for Ergo 1 to get some tokens, blah, blah, blah. So we'll definitely be able to measure some metrics for that.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing that because, like I said, I'm genuinely interested in how effective this is for something like Ergo. I myself always been really skeptical about the effect of just generally, advertising through Google for something as unique as Ergo. I actually seen other blockchains use, or not Google, Twitter ads to promote. And again, I just, I would look through the responses, the comments, just the kind of the way you can kind of do your own manual analysis. And it was usually just bullshit. It was usually just bots or some random stuff. So I never saw actual really, kind of robust, good engagement from that kind of stuff. So again, I'm open to be proven wrong.
No, Dan, I did the same thing. So when the ad went out, you can, even though it doesn't show up on your timeline, Dan, because you follow our account or local or other people that follow our accounts, it still shows up in my timeline on the Ergo platform website as people like and recomment. You can't comment, but as people like it and retweet it or bookmark it. So I did exactly that. Several times a day, I would go and see the new likes, go to the accounts that liked it for this. And you're right. Some of the stuff was like, how's this showing up on this person's timeline? And why are they clicking through the link or clicking like on this kind of thing? It was a little perplexing about the, is this a real person or is this some sort of bot? But, then mixed in, I'd say about 50-50. Mixed in were people who followed crypto and were people who seemed active and legitimate. So it's a different flavor. And then I know, what's it called? There's also talk about actually paying an influencer to promote Ergo a little bit. And that's a kind of a different clientele we've spoken about. Those are actual people that are following this influencer because of what they do and what they recommend. So it's an interesting discussion, that's for sure. It got a little heated in the Sigmanauts channel last week, but
you gotta be careful with influencers because they'll bot themselves to make them look bigger. You also have to be kind of really, really careful and you got stuff like that. But again, I'll of course, you guys are autonomous, so I'll leave it to you to figure this stuff out. But again, I'm genuinely interested in how effective it is because I just have not seen it be effective yet. But maybe you kind of found the hack. You kind of hacked the system there, and you did find a way to make it effective. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think. If Ergo and Rosen Bridge, at least in the ad that we ran, showed up on a couple million people's feeds, there's that recognition that we didn't have before that we're paying for essentially there. So I mean, at that stage, maybe that's a benefit to us just to get that name recognition out there. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We're definitely taking baby steps for this until either somebody with a lot of more marketing experience comes in, or we latch onto something that we see as very effective.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to some questions. Oh, by the way, the Ursa Minor, she's talking about Georgian wine, and she's talking about I don't know. Anyway, they are talking about Georgian wine and dessert wine that they're saying was sublime. I actually have some of that in there. I'm not going to go and get it right now, but it's called chvachkara, and it's actually my favorite. It's this sweet Georgian wine, and it's one of the most famous ones. One of the reasons why is because Stalin used to drink it. But yeah, this is a great wine, and so I'm glad that there's other people that also really find it good, because not everybody likes sweet wines. All right, let's get to some questions here. And so there is, okay, so where did I see this question? It was about institutional money. Do you see this question?
Institutional, I don't see it.
Yeah, is there there was a question about institutional money being I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good question though. I wish they would have kept it. Beans.
Oh, there we go. It's right under the welcome to live chat. It's the fourth one. Oh. Thank you to Ursa for pointing it out.
Actually, yeah, there we go. Is there anything being done to attract smart money to Ergo from institutional investors? So this is an interesting question, because again, you see this get kind of thrown out there for in quite a few ecosystems, in Cardano and other ecosystems as well, and it's it always gets kind of thrown to the foundation. What is the foundation doing to attract institutional investors into the ecosystem? Or what is, founding entity X doing to attract institutional investors into the ecosystem? And then there's also going to be, a foundation or an a founding entity X talking about how they attracted institutional money and how they have, investors coming in and all this, or just in general, money for financial institutions. So how is that all happening? So first off, to answer your question, on the foundation level, on the side of EF, I don't believe there's anything that's being done to attract any kind of institutional investments into the ecosystem, and I think that's good. I think the foundation should stay super neutral in these kinds of things, and this is actually something the community should really do, and they should do it on a project by project basis or circumstance by circumstance basis. I don't think that is the responsibility of the founding entities to attract institutional money into the community, because I think the founding entities and the governing entities responsibilities are to create an infrastructure to build on. And I'm talking about the tech infrastructure. I'm talking about building, the code, making sure the infrastructure is running, making sure the, getting all the mining stuff done. All this stuff that actually has to do with infrastructure, not infrastructure for people to get money, but infrastructure for people to build on so that they can make money, if that's what they were looking to do in the ecosystem. So I don't think that there is anything that's being done on the Ergo Foundation side. Now, from the project sides, I'm not sure about other projects. On our end, we actually have spoken to some institutional investors about, and on our end, I'm talking about the Zengate side. We've spoken to some institutional investors in the past, and continued gonna try to communicate with some to bring them into the ecosystem, to do some investment into the ecosystem. It's it's not an easy task. I mean, a lot of these guys just don't really have the understanding of blockchain just in general to be able to really make these kinds of decisions. And if they do, it are usually limited to, Ethereum and Bitcoin and whatever else, not even XRP, not even Cardano, not even Solana. I mean, we're just talking about like the ones that they constantly see on whatever CNN or Fox News Finance or whatever the Fox Business. So my personally, I think that's how it should be done. I think it should stay on the side of the community. And I think that the community leaders or the community leading projects should really be the ones reaching out to institutional investors and bring them into the ecosystem and showing them that this ecosystem is a place is a good place for their funds. Yeah. So what do you think about that, QX?
I was petting my dog. Can you repeat that, Dan? I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do that on camera. This is not the type of show.
Anyway, yeah. So I can speak to what at least the grassroots equivalent of institutional investing is in that matter, and that would be I think funds and people that are already in the ecosystem. So if we look at how many funds are available for Rosen Bridge, we're at 2.5 million or something in liquidity in the Dex. In Spectrum Dex, it started off with I can't even remember what they seeded it with. Maybe a couple 150, 60.
I think it was 250 or 200 or 250.
250. Okay, so we're a massive amount of Rosen in the ecosystem right now. So that shows me that there is a ton of, or there was, maybe not anymore, but there's a ton of liquidity that people have that they can use that they're not necessarily using. So I don't mean that buy more Rosen or buy more this, buy more that. I mean actually utilize the DApps that we have in Ergo with that liquidity, with those funds. So we have the ability to utilize SigmaFi, Sigma-O, utilize Auction House, participate in those kind of things. There's a lot of money that's already here, essentially, that is not being utilized. And I would say from a community standpoint, not one to speak on the external events of bringing in big investors, we have a lot of stuff here we need to work on as well. People should not be too afraid to engage in things like SigmaFi or provide liquidity on a DEX that you can then lock up for farming and get SPF rewards and those kind of things. So my call to action there would be to, sure, we can try to bring in big money into with funds into the Ergo ecosystem, but we're already not, I don't think, completely utilizing the funds that are already here. They're either sitting in people's wallets and doing nothing and waiting for something like Rosen to come where they FOMO into it, or it's just not being utilized to their fullest extent, my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's actually really reassuring to see that when there really is something that truly excites the community comes out in force, and we see this. We see everybody was talking about. Where's the liquidity? Where's the liquidity? Where's the liquidity? And then, you got Rosen, something that people are really into, and they just drop that token, and everybody just whoop,
right?
Comes in, tries to make it, and I mean, we're just actually, Sam and myself were talking about that, looking at this market cap, thinking, wow, this is really nice, but a little bit unexpected. We're thinking, it's like, I thought everybody's broke.
Right, exactly. With the raffles that come out recently, you're like, oh, people are so broke, and then Rosen gets 2.5 million liquidity equivalent in Spectrum.
Well, it's good to see, though. It's good to see because then that if it's something truly exciting, people will come out. Even the ones that are reserved, they will come out and they will engage.
You want to hear a funny stat too? I went on. I hit the Ergo Watch API maybe maybe 5 days ago, and anybody can do it. If you need it, just ping me. Ergo Watch has a nice API that you can put in a token ID, and it spits out all the holders of it essentially. So I hit the API with the Rosen token, and at that time, 4 or 5 days ago, Dan, there were only 720 holders of Rosen token. And that includes all the wallets that stuff stored like in Liquidity and those kind of things in the team's wallets and all that, wherever that is. So that's immensely small, in my head. If we take, let's say we take 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 720, that's about 3,400 US dollars. If we take that 2.5 million that's on the Dex, at least, that people did there, that's not much, in my opinion. So it was just shocking to me to be like, oh my gosh, we're at a stage where Rosen's where it's at, and only 720 people in the ecosystem have interacted with Rosen and either sold it or bought it or held it. Yeah, that was just shocking to me. That's all.
Well, what's shocking to me is that every time you say DApps somewhere, an angel loses their wings.
Do you want me to say like ADA DApps? How's that sound?
Don't say that. Don't say that. You're going to bring on the apocalypse.
Sorry, DApps,
Right.
FAPS, DApps, ADA.
Yeah, Eurofaps. Anyway,
But that was my bottom line, is that I think there's, I can't speak to external liquidity coming in big numbers, but I can say that according to how much was jumped onto Rosen, there's obviously a ton of liquidity in Ergo already that could be used in utilizing DApps to their fullest extent, which I don't think they are at this moment, shamefully.
Yeps. All right. QX. Anyway, and so this is actually a quick follow-up question from Wombo. It's kind of along the same lines. How has progress been trying to get an ecosystem fund? It's been challenging, but I am still at it. My original prospect didn't work out, so I am currently in early discussions with a couple other options. So, but that is, again, this is along the lines of, trying to bring institutional money in, trying to bring funds in. And it's a constant, the work never stops. And really you want to do it right. You don't want to bring any kind of predatorial money into the ecosystem. You want to bring somebody who understands the mission, who understands what we're about, and who truly is a builder themselves. So with that in mind, I am still trying to find the right fit for the ecosystem. Anywho, okay, so let's see. What's another nice question? All right. So let me, it's not that I really want.
You must have accidentally clicked on that.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked this, but I just want to say thanks to QX for his Rosen Watcher vid and CW for his Node vid. Got both up and running really easily and have even had my first bridge rewards. And that's what it's all about, my friends. You get that stuff up there, and neither of these guys are really working for the foundation or working for any kind of founding entity. There's just, QX is the shogun of the SIGs, and the CW. Well, he's just he's Wombat. He just loves us, and he gets us these fine things like videos and things.
Yeah, I've missed CW's videos. He was working on what's it called? Was he working on? He was working on a Linux video, but then he said his girl had a sleepover, so it got interrupted. And I was like, I was really looking forward to seeing CW's videos again coming out, but he got rugged by his daughter. So
Wouldn't you want to say Linux since you're saying the apps?
Linus, that's true. I mean, his name is
Linux.
Linus.
Yeah, you're the kind of people the kind of person that would say Linux, aren't you?
His name is Linus, but I think I can't remember. I've watched a YouTube video several times where he pronounces it himself, and I can't remember what he says, so it must not be important. I mean, it's a GIF and GIF argument. The creator of the GIF claims it's GIF, and everybody else tells him he's wrong. So I mean, it is what it is. Colloquialisms are interesting.
They are wrong because he made it up. Anyway, it's like the people ask me like Palmyra. I'm like, no, Palmyra. It's Palmyra, okay? Like, no, but it's Palmyra.
Now you got
though.
it in my head as Palmyra.
Now people, but it's called Palmyra though, the ancient city. I'm like, well, it's not necessarily named after the ancient city, and it's Palmyra. So don't tell me how I'm supposed to pronounce stuff that I came up with. Damn it.
I've got a quick question about Dexi Gold from Zero Faith. Third up from the bottom, Dan.
All right, let's see. Where is it?
Third up from the bottom, Zero Faith.
Third up from the bottom. Yeah. All right, status on Dexi Gold.
We have, at least on the Oracle front, we had a new Oracle config pushed to us yesterday, I believe, that we updated, and there's going to be another update, I think, in 2 days with that protocol, which should get the at least the Oracle providers on track for that. So that's all I can speak to of that, unless Dan knows some insider knowledge about how far the rest of the protocol is going on the gold side of that. No secrets.
No. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Dexi Gold. I like it. It's a really cool use case. I like gold. Anyway, all right. Let's move to the next. Actually, yeah. So there is well, what about the sidechain subblock? What about that, QX? Have you heard anything new? I mean, what's been happening with that?
Nothing new on that, just from the dev update this week. Kushti's still plugging away at it from there. I think we spoke about this 2 weeks ago, Dan. Somebody asked us what our top things we are looking forward to out of 4 things, I think. And I think that was both our last thing in priority. I realize
but you know what? I'm kind of starting to get more and more into that. Well, look, okay, so it's still like where it used to be, but I'm kind of, it's
warming up to you.
Yeah, I'm warming up to that. I mean, just yeah, it's
kind of like me in Vegas, right? At first, it was like, yeah, no, and then slowly you were like, I can't eat breakfast without this guy.
Yeah, and I was like, no, but okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of starting to. I mean, not like I don't, sleep at night and think of subblocks. I also kind of think we should really call them something else because it just doesn't sound right. But
that brings me to the question, Dan. I feel like TPS is a thing that was hot a bit ago. Everybody's like, oh, how fast can you go? You got Casper that can do 1 billion transactions in, whatever, but they can't hang on to their goddamn ledger, that kind of stuff. And you have things like Solana, which require these massive data centers to run. So there are trade-offs with that kind of stuff. And I think people, in my opinion, are starting to see that and see that, as they dig deeper into these kind of things. And you may have fast transactions, but hey, where are the smart contracts or that kind of thing?
Well, like the thing about it is, and I mean, do we need to have 1 million transactions per second? I mean, really, do we? Like, really? Do we need to well, okay, so like thinking about something like Rosen architecture, right? It's not super fast, right? But it is very secure. And so what are you going to do on a bridge? I mean, how many instances are there going to be? And I don't know myself, but I'm just thinking about this. How many instances are there going to be where you need to swab this like that? Like, I need it in and out in 10 seconds, or 20 seconds, or 30 seconds, or half a second. I mean, how often is that going to happen? We're used to in the traditional banking world and everything for transfers to take time, and even instant stuff like or something like TransferWise, it still takes a little bit of time, and people are okay with that. So I'm just thinking, really, how crucial is this race to the top for who can get the fastest transaction through the blockchain? Also, what about what about protocols that use off-chain computation and then synchronous computation? Those are those kind of change the game completely. So in that case, you might not need to have a chain that has more security and less TPS might actually be a lot more optimal for something like that, because it'll still be faster and more secure because you have a synchronous computation and you have off-chain computation that syncs with on-chain computation. So I always just kind of look at this like race to the TPS, and I just think it's like a dick measuring contest. Pardon my French. It just I don't know.
I didn't know that had French origins.
It ends with a Q.
Dick.
Dick. I always kind of think about these things, because people get wrapped up in that. People get wrapped up in.
Yeah, they're like, how is it going to replace Visa? It can never do that.
Why does it have to replace Visa, though? Exactly. Why does it have to replace Visa? Like, why? Why? Why does everything has to happen on the blockchain? Like everything. I mean, why does everything has to happen on the blockchain? You use the blockchain when it's most optimal. And there's other technologies that you can use. Again, I know I keep bringing up Palmyra, but that's what we do in Palmyra. We use blockchain for where it makes sense. And then we don't use blockchain where it doesn't make sense. Not everything is on chain, because not everything has to be on chain.
Yeah, I heard a quote from Elon Musk the other day. I was watching a video. It somehow popped up on my feed. And he was talking about NFTs, and he's like, the thing that really bugs me about NFTs that aren't ordinals are that they're not actually on the blockchain. And I'm like, why? When I first came into crypto, that bugged me a little bit too as a newbie. But the more time I spent in crypto, I'm like, why the fuck do we need to clog up the goddamn blockchain with megabytes and megabytes of a goddamn picture? It can be stored on IPFS. It doesn't matter. And you still have rights to it or link to it from there. It's like, why cram that down the blockchain's throat when it doesn't need to be? It's the stupidest thing in the world.
As long as it is auditable, right? As long as it's auditable.
Immutable and auditable. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you can audit the thing, as long as you can basically apply the same principles as you would for trustless transactions to something like this, again, where it's needed, where it's needed. What are you really looking at there? Okay, the picture, it's not really an original. It's not like an original, Picasso. It's a digital representation. So, what is really worth what has the actual value is the the data. That's what you're really, not the actual data of not the actual image, like the physical image data that puts the image on your screen, but the data that signifies that particular, the ownership of that image, the IP of that image is yours in a way, right? And not in all cases, but in a way, the IP of that image is yours. You own that unique image, but then you can put it on t-shirts, you can put it on your wall, you can put it on whatever, you can put it on your phone. Does every one of those need to be verified? I'm like, no, you don't need to verify all of them. Like, do you take photos of your family? Does it have to be signed by your entire family saying that, yes, this photo is of me? There's no need for that. There's no need to go into that level of granularity. And that's what I think also the industry has to realize is that, okay, not everything's going to be on the blockchain, that everything needs to be on the blockchain. And that's okay. And we can find a way to, the whole thing about the trilemma and solving the trilemma, right? I think is also a bit of a bullshit argument, just like the TPS race, because you don't really solve it. You don't. It's not. And just because, say, it's not as fast as the other one, doesn't mean that it's not as viable as the other one. So essentially, it's in a way moot sometimes. But anyway, that's my rant on that.
Well, I think back to the initial part of what I was saying is that I think eventually, maybe this run, maybe the next run, but at some point, I think in order for crypto to not be seen as a joke by the masses, it's going to turn to what chain is going to be the most secure, which chain is hardened enough to where I can trust it with my funds and my money and my investment.
Trust. It's trust and trustless. Like the whole thing about trustless is you have to trust the code, and that's how you can get a trustless transaction going, because code is law. So you trust the code, and that's all you got to trust. So if the code is secure, if the network is secure, I think in the end, that's all that's going to matter. Is it secure for me? Like, I can wait an extra millisecond if I know that I'm not going to lose my funds, or I'm not going to lose this important information.
Yeah, and subblocks, I think subblocks are really helpful for peer-to-peer transactions as well, to get that out of the way for that kind of thing. And then vendors or other things who will trust the finality of subblocks may let you, have that finality sooner than a standard block if they accept it. So yeah, I mean, the technology is awesome, and it's amazing that they thought of this idea. To be able to be integrated alongside or on top of or integrated with the current setup without nuking the current security assumptions of it. So that's going to be really awesome to see. I am excited about it. I just, it's not the top excitement of my.
Yeah, you just don't want to boomer this thing to death. I know.
Yeah, boomer.
I know.
You got any more questions? Hey. What do we got?
Yeah, we do have more questions. Hang on one second. Let me just. This thing doesn't want to scroll. All right. What's a nice question here? Okay. That's a nice question here. Okay. I know you don't like this one, QX, but I'm going to do this to you anyway.
Oh,
what question for both? What's on your 2024 roadmap?
Why don't you go first, Dan, so I can make something up while you're talking?
All right. My roadmap is the same as QX's roadmap, so you better go first.
Well, my roadmap is to let's see.
No. I can do it. I can do it.
Ergo? Do they mean for Ergo or a personal roadmap? Like, are we hitting the gym?
I don't care about your personal roadmap.
No,
whatever you're going to do in Cornhole College.
Perfect. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll do my roadmap first. Okay, so. Of course, exchanges. Yes, I know people are asking about exchanges all the time. Of course, exchanges. Yes, I want to get Ergo listed on at least 2 more exchanges, as the ones that I'm working on, plus maybe 2 more. Something tier 1, something else that's tier 1. So to just give accessibility, but again, that will depend on what is our priorities for accessibility for Ergo. So if we do get traction on U.S. licensed exchanges, then what is our further priority for listings? What makes sense? And there's a few options that I can take on. So that's one. The next priority for me for 2024 is more community participation and community events. I really like what happened at NFTXLV. I really like what happened at the Ergo meetup in Istanbul. I like, I even like seeing people, although, we could have done a better job with the event, but the people themselves were quality at the Dubai event. So I'd like to do more of this. I like in-person interactions. I think it brings a lot more robustness and a lot more definition and, I guess, depth to the community if we really know and interact with each other on that level, on that basis. If we build friendships, if we build a real in-person community, and plus that attracts others. And so also another priority of mine is to obviously create different tools of attracting new members into the ecosystem through education, through initiatives that would attract different types of people, like, say, business people, artists, coders. So again, working with the foundation to create incentives and to create events and to create different types of tools that would attract these types of, a robust set of newcomers into the ecosystem. And so with the coming bull market, I think is going to be easier because people are going to be a lot more, it's not even about the numbers go up. I think the good thing about the bull market is the sentiment, even though there's a lot of noise, which I'm not that crazy about, the sentiment turns positive. People stop going at each other's throats as much and start really kind of be a little more adventurous and exploring and trying new things. And I think that's a good opportunity for us to seize as a community, to welcome new people into the ecosystem. And since, from the last time we had this kind of bull market run, the ecosystem expanded exponentially. I mean, exponentially. We're a totally different ecosystem for the better than we were 2 years ago, and I'm really happy to see that. I think that attracting new people, we're going to have a lot to offer them, and that's why I'm making it a priority for myself to create pathways for those people to enter the ecosystem. And again, of course, I would like to expand on our open source tooling and libraries. So again, I'm going to be working with the foundation and, of course, with the Zengate team to bring new open source to Ergo. When I say open source, I mean commercially viable open source, traceability, digital identity, commerce-oriented open source that can be utilized for commercial ventures, as well as more Web3 focused things, like, say, for example, the type of stuff that Spectrum creates and others create in the ecosystem, and just to kind of also make sure that it's utilized, because there's nothing worse than having a bunch of open source that is great when nobody really uses. So I would also like to make incentives to utilize the open source and to build with the open source that we put out there, to bring more robustness into the ecosystem. What about you, QX? What do you got in store for 2024?
Well, I'd say my main goals, at least in the Ergo ecosystem, are to build up the Sigmanauts to be what their intent is. So that means having several drivers and several leaders inside the Sigmanauts at once, so that if let's say I'm not here on a Sunday, the meeting still runs, things are done, things are decided on, those kind of things, as well as have a fully functioning structure too. One of the hardest things that I've found in Ergo, at least, is to inflict, I guess I can say inflict, because I'm sure that's what it feels like to people, inflict structure on a group. That means, hey, can we have a specific group that deals with the treasury? Can we have a specific group that deals with the marketing? Can we have a specific group that deals with the overall leadership and that kind of thing? That's really, really hard to do. We have about 60 Sigmanauts a handful of them are very active and vocal. The rest of them like to, jump in once in a while and watch the most of the time. So it's very difficult to do that. My hope is that as we grow, we get more people in the Sigmanauts, then we can start doing these more substructures where I say, Dan volunteers to be the treasury head and record all the spending that we do, as well as make sure that the votes go through and are executed properly. Kind of thing. He's already saying no.
Dan does the spending. Dan doesn't record the spending. No, 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 no.
And then have a specific team with marketing so that we're not, as a whole group, rehashing everything together in our meetings. We actually have reporting up. So marketing comes to the group and discusses what they're doing, is advised by the entire group and that kind of thing. So that's what I'd like to see. It's very... Everybody's very talented, I believe, in the Sigmanauts and Ergo as a whole, and everybody has amazing ideas. But I think sometimes people are a little afraid to commit for some reason. Sometimes, so they'll have an idea and maybe they don't want to, they don't have the time. I can understand. It's tough. So that'd be my goal for 2024 is to get the Sigmanauts to the realization of what the original intent was, which means a little bit more autonomy. So whereas if one person dies, it doesn't get a setback for a while, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about bringing structure, and I think people confuse structure with centralization, because you can still have a pretty damn decentralized ecosystem with structured community initiatives and community groups. Decentralization doesn't mean anarchy, because sometimes people get into that. It's like, oh, but you're centralizing. It's like, well, you can't not, humans don't, that's how humans work. You have leaders and then you have like people that are in a group, you have group and you have group leaders. That's just how humans work. Everybody's has got a job, it's, there's a reason why there is an expression, too many skippers, not enough mates, because you need mates to run a ship. Not everybody can be a skipper, and everybody wants to be a skipper. So, it's just human nature. So people shouldn't really be turned off by organization. And I really like the SIGs. I really like what you guys do. Just by the fact that, I haven't really seen this. I haven't really seen this kind of truly autonomous, proactive organization in any other ecosystem. Not like this. So it's really refreshing to see this kind of initiative being taken on, and you guys being successful at it. Anywho,
and a little side note on that too is just an example of what you were saying about people taking more structure as centralization. We had we had some disagreements a couple of weeks ago in chat about how something could happen, and unfortunately, there were some too many disagreements to get a vote in for that, even where the person didn't even feel that they would even bother putting up a vote because it immediately get a no. So they took it upon themselves to utilize their own resources and go through the vision that they saw. And that's perfectly fine too. And I've said this before, hopefully in Ergo at some point, as it becomes more populated, we'll have different groups like the Sigmanauts. We'll have the Sigma Nys and the Sigma Knees and the Sigma No's and the Sigma Yeses and the Sigma Dans and the Sigma Chads. And they'll all serve their own autonomous purpose, and they'll all figure out how to get their funding and be functional and sustainable from there.
The Sigma Dans will rule them all.
Oh, they will. They will. That's a hope in the long run for sure. Sigmanauts is not the only group. We're just a group that, jumped on this structure that was brought forth by Mark and CW and some other initial SIGs back in the beginning. And we're utilizing that to try to have some organization and move some common goals forward.
Well, that's good to hear. Anyway, I think this is a good place to wrap it up for this week. And so, well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for being here, QX, even though I'd rather have a better looking co-host.
I know. I'm sorry. Joe's pretty cute.
Yeah,
But Joe,
yeah.
I rugged Joe's sleep yesterday, so he got me back today. And so what can you do? I'm glad he showed up. We went to Miner's space yesterday, and we chatted with about, I think the high water mark was about 60, 70 people in space at once. So that was, I think it worked out really well. Joe talked about some technical stuff. I spouted off a bunch of things about what is exciting about the Ergo ecosystem, and answered a few questions. So it went really well. So yeah, he had to wake up at 7 o'clock his time. So hopefully Joe's sleeping and he's not drumming up drama on Twitter or Telegram like he usually does.
You guys talking about, I have to wake up at 7 a.m. That's like the huge for me. I go to bed at like 2 a.m. I wake up at 7.
That sounds like an old man's schedule, Dan.
No, that sounds like a CEO of a startup schedule. You career academician. Anywho.
Oh boy.
All right. With that, I think we will leave it all for this week.
Perfect.
Anyway. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining in. And so, yep, same time, same place, same time. Do it earlier, please.
Congratulations to Andy, who you can't see. He just had a baby this week.
Oh yeah. So our man behind the control board just welcomed his second youngin. So congratulations.
We'll see if he's able to end this or he's bottle feeding right now. We'll see what happens when you say cut.
Well, yeah,
we'll just be standing here staring at each other.
All right. Well, I'm not going to stare at you. I'm just going to shut off.
Perfect.
Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for joining, and we will see you soon.
Ciao, everybody.